other with Izzidro Canna, from the mesmerizing waterfalls of Argentina to the lush green buds of America. Join us for a stroll down his path as we hear about his extraordinary journey. So won't you join us, and let's get organically blunt. Organically Blunt Show, a podcast that's about cannabis and the lifestyle that surrounds it, with real conversations, whether you're a novice or a professional grower. Light up and join the conversation. Let's get organically blunt. Comes to genetics, we trust Seedsman Genetics, a seed bank that has been in business for over 20 years. So head on over to Seedsman and use coupon code Organically Blunt. Popping jars, cure, store, and save your terps with Terp Lock technology. Grow bags. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Organically Blunt. I am Jay Blaze, your host, and this evening I have the opportunity and the pleasure to speak with Izzidro Canna. Welcome to the show, Izzy. And before we get into things, I kind of want to give a thanks to our sponsors that made it happen tonight, and that is Seedsman Genetics and Grow Bags. Be sure to head on over to either one of them. From seed to harvest, we got you covered. Use coupon code Organically Blunt and make sure to smash that subscribe button so you can be notified of future episodes. Welcome to the show, Izzy.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure. So I'm excited to get on to tonight's episode.
Definitely.
And yeah, let's get organically blunt, right? I'm already halfway through my blunt, almost a little bit more than halfway. So
yeah. You just have to roll another one.
Hey, exactly. Grower problems, right?
Yep, exactly. So I just want to dig right into things with you, and we'll start right with your journey with cannabis and overall. So you're from Argentina. A lot of people aren't familiar with even how the atmosphere, let alone how the agriculture is there, unless they really dive into it and have an interest. And And like me, for example, I didn't even know there was waterfalls like that until I made your intro. And I was like, wow, that is beautiful. So tell us kind of how you've transitioned from there to here. And during the mix, when did you come across cannabis and where did you get it from?
Okay. So real quick, I think Argentina is kind of unique when you talk about climate and weather and stuff like that, because it is in South America. And then it's like backwards, right? Because it's like south of the equator. So right now, when it's cold here, it's summer over there, right?
Wow.
But also because the land stretches from like north to south, we actually have border with Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay, and Chile, and then it's very tropical. We have a little piece up there of forest up in like the falls, the Catarata de Iguazu. That's where like every 3 countries meet. I think Uruguay, Brazil. I'm not sure, but like there you can see like all different countries and stuff. And Argentina has a side. I know the other ones have a side too. And then the further down you go, like the colder you get, we actually have a spot all the way down that reaches the Antarctic. So you can you can have all the climates you want, all the temperatures you want. You just got to decide where you want to live,
Yep.
So I was a little bit more up north, like Entre Rios. So it's a little town, man. It's a really small, like rural, like country everywhere. It's like one main road, and like knew that way was Buenos Aires, and like I don't know what the other way was. So it was tiny, like we live on the edge, and it was like a big backyard, like a reserve type deal. But yeah, that's a cool part of Argentina. But like I said, when I was a little bit up north, which meant it's a little bit more tropical. So like during the winter times, I wouldn't need like a big jacket or anything like that. Sure, it would get cold, but like there's like palm trees and stuff in my hometown.
Wow.
Tropical.
That man, I can only imagine. That's a dream for most of us, for real. I mean, we all dream of having palm trees in our yard, and you grew up with it. Oh, that's got to be awesome. But so, do you like snow though? I mean, like,
If it
why?
came with the cold, it'd be great. Like if we had snow, and then we could do like snow like activities like snowboarding or like snowmobiling, and it wasn't cold, it would be perfect.
Right. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't like the cold, period. So, like, I'm trying to get to Argentina because that sounds like the place to be. I don't want to. I don't want to be freezing. I get cold easy. I'm anemic. So,
Yeah,
but
it's cold. It's been cold. I mean, not right now, but it's been cold. Would never.
oh, definitely. Yeah. So, when did you come across cannabis? When did that come into the mix?
Yeah. So what I would, like I said, like earlier, like I mean when we spoke, I'm sorry, not earlier. I did come here when I was very very young. So when I got into cannabis was here as a teenager. I was
Okay.
16 years old, which is the appropriate age. No, I'm just kidding. No, disclaimer: 21 and over. I'm sorry, I don't want to get you in
Oh,
trouble.
you're all right. This is organic blunt.
And stuff.
We tell the truth and we ask the questions here that most people don't. So,
Yeah. So I
yep.
was like, when I first came here, it was like south side of Chicago, and I had older cousins that lived like on the north side. So I went to like a boarding school. Like I said, I grew up very like conservative Christian. I even went to like a boarding school that was 70 Adventist. So during the
Wow.
weekends, I would tell, "Hey, mom, I'm actually gonna go see my friends. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends downtown Chicago. We're all gonna meet up there, and then I'm gonna take a train, spend the weekend there. Yeah, I'm gonna go to church, get my church clothes because we're going to church." That was a lie. I would take the train downtown and then go to my cousin's house and hang out for the weekend, go out partying, drinking. So they would smoke, and that's the first time that I had it was there at their house where they introduced me to it, and I was really like out of my mind. I just remember just laying on the floor and looking at the ceiling and watching the pen spin, and I'm like, whoa, it was amazing and it was cool. I was into it right away.
Definitely. Man. So, did you get the munchies? I mean, everybody usually gets the munchies. I mean,
Yeah,
if you
I don't remember that much, to be honest. I was kind of drunk too, you know. So I didn't really. I don't think I was like super drunk. I didn't even like drink that much. I was never like a heavy drinker.
right.
And then, so I was probably like a couple beers in. I was feeling really buzzed. So I just remember after that, just going to sleep. So it was pretty late too in the night. It's probably like 4 or 5 a.m. or something stupid like that.
Definitely. So, you're into sustainable gardening, and we want to hear more about that. We're all trying to be more sustainable, leave a less of a footprint,
Hmm.
essentially, when it comes to waste and reusing what we have available to us, and me included. So, how did you get into being a sustainable gardener? Did you realize you had a hardship where you couldn't get supplies? Was it just more trying to be green? Was it a little bit of both? I mean, what was your reasoning behind being more sustainable, and how did you attack that?
I think in general right now, I'm glad that you bring this up, and everybody's starting to be a little bit more aware. And yeah, everybody needs to be conscious of what's going on, and we all need to take part. This is how we do it actually. So the way that I stumbled upon, like you said, it was hardship when I first wanted to grow. I couldn't because I didn't have like the space, and when I did have the space, I didn't have like the knowledge, And then it just seemed like such a far away thing, and like, oh, I gotta have lights, and I gotta have a tent, and I gotta have a carbon filter, and the regiment for NPK, and all this other stuff, and it was so overwhelming for me that I was like, I can't do that. College student, part-time job at a fast food restaurant. I'm not gonna, I'm already struggling.
Yep.
Whatever the dealer was, who had the cheaper prices, and I was at the mercy of the grower. And then a little bit later in my life, when I as an adult, and I was kind of like able to have my own space and everything like that, I got into like, how do I grow now that I can grow, you know
Right.
now that I have the possibility of growing, how do I grow? And yeah, and I didn't want to have this I think is ignorant the way we grow, like a modern day agriculture in a sense, because all these inputs that we're putting in the soil are very harmful for the soil, very harmful to our cells, very harmful for the microbiology in the soil. The run of fertilizers um, causes our own set of damages too, to like ecosystems. So then I in any scale, I didn't want to waste like that, but I didn't really get into it, to be honest, really honest with you. I had a trip. I had I had a trip, and it was very intense. It was all night, and I would come in and out, and there's certain stuff that I was watching on TV, but essentially I realized a lot of things. But one of them is that I need to go back and get in touch with like how my ancestors were back in the day in the Amazon, also in tune with nature, also growing, also being regenerative, like. And they were, it was a vast civilization, that was in the Amazon, and the knowledge that they had was great. So much so that like the soil that we found that they made is actually something that can help us today, which is insane to think about. So that's pretty much how I got into the whole regenerative soil. It was after a trip that helped me reconnect back to nature, and just the fact that I already went into it thinking that I need to find a way to grow, and I need to be conscious of what I'm doing. So that's how I ended up wanting to grow this way.
Definitely. Now, do you grow now indoors, outdoors, both? Are you strictly soil, or have you tried other ways?
So I'm like fairly new at this still, right? But I started
Sure.
outdoor because it's easier and more cost effective. And now I am growing indoor, like the next room. The next
Hey,
room is backwards. The next room.
mine's behind me, so I feel you.
So I have room over there growing some stuff, and then I'm gonna get some clones later on too to pop in there. So
Nice.
I do both depending on where I'm at. But I love the outdoor. I love the outdoor. I look at I have a whole set of like my own soil that I put in my greenhouse outside. Now I do have like soil, some of that soil that I grab and put into pots, and I have that in my indoor. But as far as like growing, no, I haven't done any other way like hydroponics or anything like that.
Sure.
It's just only soil, no like cocoa or anything, just strictly soil. Yeah.
Yep. I'm a soil guy myself. Um, so I read that you're from Michigan?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like St. Joe, Ben Harbor area, like right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in Muskegon, so
Okay.
I'm on the other side of the state, but definitely that's awesome. If you ever get a chance, you should come out to some of our events this summer. We're doing a
Yeah,
lot of different events. So
I was there a little bit. I played college soccer, and we had a couple games against Muskegon, the college there. So it's fun. That was awesome.
nice. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I know a lot of our people are going out for Hash Bash. That's coming up, so we'll probably be down there. I haven't been to one personally myself. I
Yeah.
just can't ever seem to get that day off work. But I'm gonna try to this year. No guarantees, but I'm gonna try, and we'll see how that goes. But
Yeah. Same over here. I'll try to get out there too. It seems like a lot of fun. A lot of
definitely, I met John St. Clair, the guy who helped and a couple other people down that would helped form Hash Bash that were involved in the initial building of it, and it was pretty cool over the past summer. But They asked me to come out, but I haven't had a chance. This year, I really want to try to, though. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, what do you like prefer when you grow? What are some of your preferred strains that you've grown so far? Like, are you a sativa guy? Are you an indica guy? Do you like fruity? Do you like gas? I mean, what?
Mixture, to be honest. So depending on what I'm doing, I grew different strains. So I wanna have a little sativa in the morning, a hybrid, and and then indica. Or to be honest, certain activities like physical activities, I do sometimes prefer an indica, like in the gym. So if I wake up and have a morning session, I'll have an indica because I feel like that gets me more in the zone, like more my body like my body shuts down more, so I'm able to do more. Even though that sounds crazy, so I
Yeah.
don't know if that makes sense, but so and as far as like strain goes, so I have been able to meet like really wonderful, amazing people at some of these caregiver events that I've attended, and I've gotten some like genetics from certain people. So I grew platinum pebbles from AB Seed Co, and I was very impressed with the way that one grew and how it finished, how it smoked, everything. I even the people that we smoked with like that one. I like the terps on this one called Still Tippin', and that's by ISNW Selections. That's their Instagram tag. Uh,
Okay, I'll have to check them out.
yeah, for sure. And then but he's like regular seeds. I grew regular seeds too a little bit this year, and a couple of feminine seeds. And like whatever I think my girl likes, she likes a blueberry strain. So I got blueberry muffin clones from Retro Genetics, Retro Genes. Also,
Okay.
with a follow there. I got a lot of clones from him last year, and he was at an event. So, I was like, oh, give me this one, give me that one. It's a
Yeah,
problem,
definitely.
real problem. so, so yeah, basically, so whatever I like Skywalker. I also grew a clone of that Skywalker OG. I tend to
Oh
like
yeah.
gassy strains, more like pungent. I do like a nice fruity strain. Everybody's obsessed with flavor. Flavor is okay. If you really like flavor, go eat some ice cream. But I like, like, whatever. I mean, there's really good flavors out there. Don't get me wrong. It's
Yep, yep.
like everybody's so obsessed with them, but there's so many more things that we lost just chasing flavor, flavor, flavor. And I feel like that weed is not as pungent and like that as it used to. So I like a little bit of gas, to be honest,
Yep,
in my bud. So.
definitely. ABC, he's a good guy. We've had him on the show,
Oh, great.
He's Yeah, he's one of my friends, and he won a couple awards at a couple of the events that we've been at, and he won the belt. If you ever ask him to see the belt. It
Well,
looks like a wrestling belt. And
we sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was
Go
gonna say
ahead.
I have a lot of love for him too because that guy we met at these events and right away his energy was like great, was like positive, and we hit it off, and then we actually went live and he taught me how to take cuts of clones. So
Oh wow.
in one, I can't remember which one it was. Oh yeah, it was the regular seeds. I'm sorry, it was the regular seeds because it was my first time trying, and I was trying to figure out which one was male and female by getting cuts and flipping them to flower.
Okay.
So he taught me. We went live. It was like 45 minutes. Took cuts,
Wow.
put them in the clone, used the gel, blah blah. He went over the process, how he did it, and then I just followed it, and then it was great. So I'm excited to grow outside some genetics. I'm definitely gonna be running some of his genetics this summer, 100%.
I haven't ran him, and he keeps bugging me too. Because every time I see him at the event, he's like, "Have you popped my seeds yet?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't want to ruin. It's so pretty. Like, give me another one because
Yeah,
I I'm a collector too. So like, I don't want to ruin the one that I'm collecting. So like, it's like having a rookie card. I need two of them. I need one that
yeah.
one to use and one to collect because I don't want to. Ooh, that's pretty. Definitely.
Yeah. My outdoor
Awesome.
growth.
I'm still smoking on my outdoor from last year, so I can't complain. Not
Blessing.
one.
I do it.
Yep. So, Are you gonna do quite a bit outdoors this year? I mean, how many do you plan on doing? I know myself, I'm probably gonna put 18 in the ground this year.
Okay, yeah. So I would definitely have, I think, end up more than 12. What I found out through the years of growing that you do have to pop
Oh
more
yeah,
seeds than what you think you're gonna need. So I'm gonna be a little bit more aggressive this year outside, and then I don't know the exact number, but I'm gonna definitely like pop a lot of seeds because I do have all
right.
genetics that I was gifted as like samples, and I feel bad that I still haven't started those. And I do like to make like content, and if you gave me seeds and stuff like that, then I want to turn around and then give you content and do like follow up of your genetics throughout my grow, which I
That's
think
awesome.
is great. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm still planning my outdoor, but I got about 2 months until I'm gonna be popping seeds for it. I pop mine right at around the end of March, and it gives me about a month of veg indoor before I put them in the ground outdoors, and that's just how I've always done it. And I usually get 17-foot monsters, and
yeah,
it's been crazy. I know a lot of people are like, man, that's huge. Yeah, I got pictures too, and it's not easy work. It really is not. It becomes too
it is.
much when they get that big. I don't like them over 10 foot because then it's just too hard to spray them. It's too hard to take care of them. You can't reach them. I mean, it's a lot of work,
That happened to
really.
me this past year in the summer. So I like my greenhouse is only 8 foot tall.
Okay.
And I had to remove the lids from the top
Oh,
because it just shot out of that thing. Like you said, I couldn't even. I had to like when I had to spray for IPM.
yep.
Where I was in there trying to get all these goofy angles, going from underneath, getting a ladder. It's so silly.
Yep. Yep.
But I mean, I was very proud of my last outdoor grow. And again, like I said, that's the soil that I cooked. And then also I did run some in separate fabric bags, and those are the clones that I got from the retro genes, like the platinum pebbles, uh, purple cake kush, blueberry muffin. I got a Skywalker, and then a Mendo breath. But the
Ooh, Mendo.
yeah, the blueberry muffin, I ended up popping it out of the bag and just placing it in the greenhouse because I just wanted it to develop. It was short, and I wanted to put as I could in there. So
Definitely. That's awesome. So do you plan on, I guess I know you cook your own soil up, but what do you have a brand base you start with, or
yeah,
what?
so that's what I did in the fiber paths. I'm sorry, that's what I was going to mention. I'm glad you say that because I use organics alive nutrients. So that's what I did. I did like a little battle between myself. Oh, let's see how the bud that I grow in the soil I made versus the bud in the organics alive nutrients. So, and
Definitely.
it was killer. I mean, like I said, I was very impressed with the way the genetics were on all the clones I got. Everything's super clean, and then the fertilizers from Organics Alive are very simple to use, and I make compost teas out of their stuff too. I bought in like I can't remember now, but it's 3 different types of fertilizer, and some
Yep.
other liquid form of inputs that I add to my compost teas as well.
I think I've used them once. I've spoke with the owner back when they first like hit the market. I tried it. And they were giving some out, and I want to remember if I remember right. It's powder formed. It's pretty water soluble,
Yeah,
and I think one was green, one was red, and one might be white. And for like grow and bloom, and I forget what the
yeah.
other one was, but
There's a veg transition and then bloom. Yeah.
okay, yep. And the stuff seemed to work great. I just now I use a local gut friend of mine, Country Roots. He makes the soil and amendments right here in Michigan and everything, and he ships everywhere. And he's a great guy, and
I
I
love their.
support him.
They make. I bought some of their bud at one of these events, and oh my, that's why I when I have weed from or bud marijuana cannabis from people that did the organic regenerated soil, and I smoked it, I was like, this is how I need to grow. You know,
That's what I'm
it's
doing. Yep.
different. It is different, you know. And I've used
Yep.
actually some of their inputs too. I use their little packets for compost teas for veg and bloom.
Yep.
Right in that same when I got the eighth from them, a couple eighths and stuff, I did some like shots with my camera, and they gave me some compost teas, and I used
Oh,
them
hell yeah.
during my grow last year. So I will definitely be using more of their compost teas during the summer as well.
I think you should come out in May if you got time. And we're going to do a 2-day educational panel right at Country Roots Farm.
I
It's going to
saw
be
that.
all about, yeah, yeah. I'm going to be doing all the video. We're going to have it documented on video too, in case you can't make it out. We're going to
Yeah.
probably put it on DVD. Chris from Country Roots, he's pretty much my best friend, So, like, I go up to his farm and he helps me out, and I try to help him out, and we shoot ideas off each other, and I try to help him get his content out there because he helped me, when I didn't have nothing, and I that's how it goes. Now I'm running. I just got done with setting it up last night. I got a few more things to go. I'm running a 3x3 living soil bed with all his amendments and soil, and it's lasagna, and
Yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah.
be fun. It's all learning to me, but it's gonna be fun because I haven't grown in a while, other than a couple autos here and there. So
Oh, okay.
def-
Yeah, yeah, awesome. That's what it is about. You know, that's another thing what I'm such an advocate about growing, not necessarily just growing. Like anybody can read a little pamphlet that they give you and do this day 30 and then flip the lights and whatever, man. Like try to establish a connection with the plant. It's an entity, you know, it's not just a plant. These things react, they the soil as well. You know, there's so many things happening underneath in the soil in the root zone. So there's so many other different things you can start getting into, and it's exciting, and you learn, and you want to know more, and you want to grow. So like you said, you know, you're getting into all these different forms of growing, and there are so many different forms of growing. There is not just one. You know, you can use
right,
whatever that's available to you, but if you want to have like a low cost, that's my thing as well, like a low cost that focuses on regenerative, and it's a win-win for everything, you know. So like when you start to get into what I'm doing is like you as well, to lower your carbon footprint, it fits perfectly because now your food waste is composting for your garden, you know.
yep.
So there's all
There's
different
no
things that you could do that, you know, around your house, you know, and you learn the I had to learn a lot about the you know IMOs and the organic already mycorrhiza and biology that's around my area, and I wanted to harness that and use that in my soil, and I also wanted to grab the plants in the area and use those in my soil to start like kickstarting the biodiversity. So there it was so exciting, you know, to wake up in the morning and get to what I was doing, start that compost pile,
oh,
start on my greenhouse, start setting up for the soil, start, you know. So it's exciting. It's awesome, and it's environmentally friendly. And like I said, you build that connection with nature that we've lost. You know, we definitely lost the connection we used to have.
exactly. When people say that it's grounding when you take your shoes and socks off and you step in the soil, it truly is. You're getting grounded to the earth, and it's an energy that passes through you that you just can't explain. You just have to experience it, and that's where I'm at with things. And I'm all on the organic thing now too. I did the bottled thing for a long time. I threw my soil away after every run in the beginning, and then soil companies went out of business and I couldn't find it. And then I came across Country Roots and he was making soil. And I was like, okay, I found my answer because I don't have a place to get it now. And I threw all my soil away.
Yeah.
So I got it from him. We started learning how to re-amend. We started reteaching it. Now we're starting to do classes and teach people how to build their own soil. He's going to have a program at the farm where you can come up, explain your environment, explain what you want to grow, and you can build your own soil right there at the farm, and we can tailor it into exactly how much you need, so you don't have to
That's awesome.
waste it and you don't have to overspend. And that's what he's working on. Yep.
That is great work, man. That is right in tune to with what we have to do going forward as far as like looking into agriculture. You hit it in one of the points that I thought was silly about growing. It's like every single cycle I have to dump the soil and get a new one. Dump the soil.
Yep.
I went out and like waited for my girlfriend's dad grows. Like his grows kind of behind mine. And he dumped his soil. He had like 50-pound bags of huge bags too. He also
Oh
grew.
yeah.
I grabbed that soil and I used that in my greenhouse. I amended it. I cooked. I put everything back in. I use a lot of organic inputs too. I make compost teas in the biochar, but also I've used like root organics, bat guano, both the nitrous and the seabird. I've used like earthworm castings. I can't remember what brand that is. And then dragonfly earth medicine. I use some other stuff too.
I've heard of them. I haven't used them, but I've heard of them definitely. And there's so many ways you can do it. Everybody has their own way. There's so many companies out there that offer similar products, but their own brand of it. And you just kind of got to figure out who you're going to represent and be passionate, and you got to make sure they stand behind the values that you do. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. I mean, I support my guy locally now, but I started out, growing in ocean forest. I went from that to coast to Maine. I went from coast to Maine. I did a soil testing last year with 4 different soil companies, to making my own basically with Country Roots and working with Builder Soil and everything and kind of tailoring it in now. But I think that's the thing, you got to figure out what you like and make it work for you. But you can't copy somebody else's recipe because it's not necessarily going to work all the way.
Everybody's unique, and this is the way also of expressing yourself. When you think about like humanity and nature and like how it should be, right? Like how should we go back to that connection that we have? And one way to kickstart that is by growing. Just grow whatever. But yeah, we should go back to fostering that relationship. I honestly forgot what I was going with that. I'm kind of high. I'm sorry.
Hey, that's all right. It happens all the time. I've smoked half my first joint. You're working on a second one yourself. My problem is I talk so much that it burns out, and then I'm sitting there holding it, and it's like, okay. And then by the time the show is done, I still have a whole joint. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll smoke this now. So like, that's usually how it happens every episode for me. But
yeah, I guess what I was going with that is like, oh yeah, one of the points I was going to tie that into one of the points you said about recharging your soil, right? You said, so like basically I found this silly, right? Like I was saying, buying soil when soil is like right there and beneath your feet. So then, but you can't just just grab whatever soil, right? You have to learn the composition of the soil that you have. And then, like I said, gather, make a nice little pretty environment for biodiversity to thrive. And that's what biochar comes into, Terra Preta comes into play for me. I found, because to be honest, the key thing to me is that I am really actually very lazy.
Me too. Everything is automated in my grow. Like if I can't monitor it from my cell phone when I'm on the road, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Like I had to add a Wi-Fi switch just to my light because the company doesn't offer that I'm working with. Kind
Yeah.
LEDs lights don't have that. Where I've grown the past few years under HLG, and they took care of me. They have access points. They have app support. I can control it. I can't do that with the kind, and they're still working on that technology. And I'm like, come on, guys, we need a controller or that's wireless. Like
Mhm.
because my watering system, I'm getting ready to set up a blue mat system. I'm that is no pumps, no electricity. It's gravity fed. Essentially, you want your water reservoir 3 foot above your soil line, and then gravity literally pulls the water into your soil
That's awesome. That's
as
insane.
as it needs it, based off the percentage that you calibrated your carrots at. They open a valve and let it drip. It's a drip emitter, so it's not like it's flooding it. Unless something goes wrong,
Right.
it's not going to flood, and they're
That's
going to help.
awesome. We're using
Yeah,
the knowledge that we have. We're using the knowledge that we have of the matrix, the universe that we live in, which is gravity, and we use that to our advantage. Same thing, This is something that going back to agriculture teaches. I believe that's ancient technology. We knew that the Mesoamerican people had hydraulic like water access in their cities. Like the
yep,
and such and all this other stuff. Other civilizations back in the day too. Like the aqueduct in Rome and stuff when they had the pitch. I don't know how many miles. It's perfect pressure, so you can bathe in Rome like once a month.
yep. It's so badass. I just read an article on all that and like how they did that, and my mind was literally blown. I was just like, whoa, like how they
But
do that? That's
the
insane.
the thing with biochar also, like I said, I'm lazy, right? So with biochar, what if you cook it and you do it correctly, you can cook it, amend it with the nutrients that you need, and put that in your soil. And it has so many other benefits too, because um, biochar is so porous. It's perfect for housing microorganisms. So the microorganisms go there, and it's like an apartment. They're all just chilling in your biochar in your soil, ready to go. And then when you add all the inputs, I added my own composting when I cook the biochar. I added the roots, some roots organic inputs too, and like bird guano, nitrous guano, like I said, earthworm castings. But I also put alfalfa, neem meal, and oyster meal. These are all organic inputs, and some food scraps and a bunch of other stuff like this herb from South America. Yeah, yerba mate. I have that herb. It's like a green tea, and I had a packet of that. It's from South America, so I thought it was very fitting. So I put that in there, um, and then coffee as well, a bunch of other, and then I try to grab, like I said, IMOs from the area. I harness some mycorrhiza, I put it in there, uh, and yeah, so this is all because biochar is so amazing like that, and actually the way why it's able to absorb is because it's negatively charged. So biochar is actually negatively charged. It has like a lone like molecule ion, and it needs another one. So that's why it's like it's called absorption, obviously, right? When everybody knows what that is. So that's why it's so great at absorbing nutrients and like all these other things, like harmful things too. Biochar, what water runs through it, it actually absorbs all the bad stuff. So we can clean our air, our water. Let's say, imagine, everybody in their backyard had biochar in their backyard. We'll be saving the world one backyard at a time, and it's something that you could do in your own time in your backyard. That's cost free with old logs. You can make your own compost just by saving the kitchen scraps from when you cook. Like I said, it has a plethora of positive impacts. It mitigates, it sequestrates the carbon in the air. It literally could save the whole problem that we're having with climate change, the whole issue that everybody's like, we need battery cars, we need more efficient light bulb, we need everything's a product. What your solution to emission is making another product that you can buy that causes more harmful to make and waste is wasteful. It's why aren't we talking about the biochar more? It's a win. It's a win-win for everybody involved because you can grow your own food or herb or cannabis in the soil that you cooked that you made. And like I said, it filters the water, it filters the air, and it's a beautiful place for your microorganisms to be chilling in the soil. We Terra Preta biochar is the oldest new thing you heard because we found it. We did. That's the crazy part. It was in the Amazon there. We found it, and
That's
look at
crazy.
all the great things it could do.
Definitely, yeah. I just put a whole bag full in my living soil bed. Country Roots made it for me, and everything. He was just like, oh, he was like, you need biochar. I said, well, I was gonna buy some because I didn't know how to do it. And he's
Yeah,
like, I'll just do it for you. So he did it as a friend, and I'm like, dude, I appreciate this more than ever because I don't have the capabilities. I live in a housing community, so I can't like do
oh,
that.
you start fires and shit back there. Yeah,
Right. Let me make it on my barbecue grill out here and see how my neighbors like it. They might
yeah.
they might like that.
Yeah, because one way to do it, the way I've done it, like in a small scale in my backyard, is that you make a cone shape. So charcoal is done by pyrolysis, right? Which is the act of like consuming or burning of biomass that's in the oxygen deprived environment. So that when you make a cone shape in the earth and you start your fire at the bottom with little twigs, and you add more twigs and more twigs as the fire goes up, the fire is burning up here and the oxygen is like there's no oxygen like going down. So as it burns up, you're depriving the oxygen of the stuff that's been burned, and essentially you create the biochar like that. And also you could do like tin cans and stuff. I've seen elaborate ones that people like reuse the big drums, steel drums, and then you put one inside the other one type deal, and that's how you make it. But the act of making charcoal, it's common knowledge. We've been doing it for a very long time. But using it for agricultural reasons, it's something that now we're just getting into. And the guys that give you a biochar, the Roots Organic guys, they're heroes. Not all heroes wear capes. These guys literally gave you a solution, an input that has so many great benefits, and they give it to you for free. That's a true friend right there. Never lose him.
No, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's done so much to me. Like I didn't even have access to my saplings because I put saplings in the layer, and I did maple and birch. And I'm like, okay, where am I gonna get this? I'm literally gonna have to go hiking and find some trees, cut some branches off them, put them in my bag, and take them back home. He's like, so he jumped on his side by side out at the farm, and he's grabs these big cutters and he starts cutting a bunch of them and putting them in the bag for me. And I'm like, dude, I
Awesome.
appreciate this more than ever. And he's like, you do a lot for me, and we help each other. We educate the community. And he's like, I want you to do it right because I want you to teach it right. So whatever you need, you let me know so we do it right the first time. And that's good because I don't have to make the mistakes of going through the process of learning and something not turning out where I'm learning it right the first time. So when I reteach you guys in the audience, I'm teaching you guys right the first time so you don't get it wrong and buy the wrong materials and waste your money or your time trying to figure out what works. And that's,
Exactly.
yep.
That's you hit it right there, and it's awesome that these guys are so conscious about what they're doing as well. And that's
Yeah,
honestly what we have to teach. What you're teaching right now, you're doing a great job. The country soil guys are doing a great job of how to be regenerative, how to be self-sustainable, and it's beautiful because they help you out. They also want people to learn. Like he wants you to do it
exactly.
correctly so you can teach other people. That's amazing. When is the last time you don't see this type of ethics from any corporation or any sort of person that we look up to make laws that govern us? And we're talking
Right.
these farmers have more ethics than these guys that are up there, you know. So like that's awesome, and that's what it is. That's the community also that I've learned, and I think I sat down and talked to Chris a little bit one time, and I got to talk
Okay.
to either other people too, but very briefly because usually I'm there and I'm like super baked. I'm recording or like other stuff, you know. So I don't sit down and talk to other people,
I
but
don't sit down at all. I'm from the time I walk in the door till the time I leave, I'm shooting content. So people are trying to talk to me. People are trying to smoke with me, and I'm here holding a camera, and people are passing me joints, and I'm like, sorry guys, I gotta get this, and they're like, oh man, just relax a little bit. When do you take a break? And I'm like, this is taking a break. Like, you have no clue. This is break time for me. Like, okay,
in a room
yeah,
for the smokers, of course they're gonna be like, "Take a break, man. Come on, come smoke. What is going
yep.
on?" Camera down. That's hilarious. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, oh, I get it all the time. It's ridiculous, and I'm getting invited to more and more events, and I can't make it to all of them, because I I don't really get paid to do this. So like, I got
Exactly.
I, I got like the funding to go across the state isn't always there to go to these guys' events. So I try to go to the ones that work locally for me, but
Yeah, real
we're
life
gonna.
is still happening in the background. You know, the same with me when I first got into the scene. I wanted to go to all the events, all the here, there, everywhere, and meeting
Yep.
people. And then work and everything else, school got a little bit crazy, so I kind of like put everything like that on hold. And just recently I was like, you know what, it's time to go back and do some stuff now because I have a little bit of free time and things have been working out, like I've been invited to this podcast. This is awesome. I love talking about my journey and the way that I grow, so
Definitely. Well, I got about three more questions for you before we let you go here. So I'm going to ask you them, and we ask everybody these questions. So don't be ashamed at answering any way you want because there's no set way. And that is, what is your preferred way of smoking?
anyway, to be honest, like right now organically blunt because it's blunt, so it's fitting.
Yep.
So I switch it up. I feel like for the most part, blunt provides like a bigger, you can get the bigger like joint papers. But for the most part, I tend to go with a blunt. Me and my girlfriend smoke together. But I do joints obviously if I want to taste test or if I want to do certain things, or I'm smoking with people that only do joints. I do a joint. I do a backwood every now and then, just for funsies.
Sure.
But I also have like and like a different types of vaporizers. I bust those
Okay.
out too for to do like little cleanses. So I only would smoke out of the vaporizers, and also some like dabbing tools as well, like a couple coils with banger setups, the T bucket from Cannabis Hardware. I have a little bit of gadgets. I have some glassware and things to switch it up. We don't get bored of smoking here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, I kind of touched on it earlier, but I'll ask straight out. So, when you're high, everybody has a go to munchie. What is yours? Is it something sweet, something salty, popcorn, ice cream, salad? Who knows? Like everybody has a weird one. So, like, what is your go to?
It's changed in the years. I remember back in the day, my go-to would be like sour Skittles. Oh man, I would tell my friends, if you see me walking around with a bag of Skittles, I'm baked. You know, high man, because I would like, oh, sour Skittles. Just the way the sour tasted in my mouth when I was high was like, oh.
That's me. That's me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then and then it was like goldfish. But right now I try to keep things a little bit more clean, more healthy. So whenever, like obviously, there's times I go get stuff from the grocery store like in candy and whatnot. But when I'm on it, when I'm healthy, I like to do like a dry fruit tropical mix with like banana chips and like pineapples and papayas and like a lot of almonds, like nuts and stuff like that. That's like my go-to right now because I need to worry about my weight.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. I actually enjoy that stuff. It's just like I tell everybody, if you ever look at things, what really sucks is the way society penalized us and punished us with making the junk food cheaper than it is to eat healthy. You know, to eat healthy is twice, if not more, than it
Yeah.
is to eat junk food, and that's the thing that makes it hard for people to stay healthy. It really is. You
It's
know.
also why growing your own stuff is better for you. I've also this road of regenerative gardening took me in the road of trying to regrow my own food, and I started very small. I'm doing like
Yep.
microgreen, garlic, onions, potatoes, very simple stuff, and I'm just learning and I'm going.
Definitely. Okay, and that leads me to my last question. Now, this question, there's a rule to this question. And the rule is we want the first organic thought that pops in your head. We don't want you to think hard. We want literally the first thought that pops in your head. So, if you could smoke with anybody dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Probably like Messi. I know he
Okay.
probably doesn't smoke, but he's like my idol. I'm from Argentina, and like he's we won the World Cup, and it was like his
Yep.
last World Cup, and all this beautiful like story of perseverance that really touches like with me because he also left Argentina at a young age. So I'm like,
Oh, I
oh,
didn't know that.
we definitely gotta smoke. We gotta bond. Like I know if we smoke, he's like my boy. Not really. Everybody thinks like that of their idol, but probably
Yep.
him. He probably like I don't smoke weed. I'm an athlete. Get that out of me.
I only know who he is, and I know it sounds weird, but my buddy's son played soccer, and that was his idol. Like he idolized Nessie, and I'm just like, and we asked him one day because he was talking about it. We're like, "Who's this Nessie you're talking about?" Because the only Nessie we know is the one that they put in a city here called the Grand Rapids. They have It's called the Grand River. Well,
Yeah,
they have an art competition called Art Prize, and
yeah.
an artist developed a Loch Ness monster and put it in the river called Nessie. And that is the only Nessie I knew up until
I
that
remember
time.
it.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, who's Nessie? What are you talking about? You talking about the Loch Ness? And he's like, no, the soccer little kid's like schooling me. Like he knew his stats and he knew
Oh,
everything about him. And I'm just like, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to be like him. And I'm like, well, you got a good inspiration. Now, I'm not mad at you about it. Definitely. So
nice
that's how I learned about him.
for sure. He's
Yep.
definitely inspiration.
Yeah, definitely. And that's pretty much, the end of the questions I had for you. We're approaching the hour mark here. And with that being said, where can people connect with you? Where can they find you? And what do you got coming up in the near future?
So you can just find me at my Instagram, which is Tres that 420, which is TRES.420. And in the future, I don't know. I want to keep growing. I want to keep learning. I want to keep going into more of finding your independence. Through the growing process of like your own food, your own herb, your own medicine, your own cannabis, which is also medicine. And in a way, you get like a little bit of financial freedom, and you feed yourself, and you're able to heal yourself, and a bunch of other like beautiful benefits we talked about. So like just like you and like everybody else in the community that we met, I also want to teach people. If I could do it and I can record my journey, which I don't mind doing either of those things, and I can find somebody else, I can like help somebody else take that step as well. You know,
Yes.
so because I don't like consider myself to be the smartest person in the room, and if I learn this stuff, then anybody can. Literally, it's all good. Don't worry.
Hey, like I've always said, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And
Yeah.
that's the truth.
Mhm.
You know. But with that being said, I appreciate you coming on the Organically Blunt Show. You're more than welcome to come on anytime if you have some exciting news or anything you want to share with the community. Just hit me up. Let me know. We'll schedule. We'll get you back on. No problem. So you're now a part of the Organically Blunt family.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And you're welcome at any of our events that we attend at any time. And like I said, thanks for coming on the show and stay organically blunt.
Thank you, bro. I might
Okay.
see you at the Roots Organic one because I did see that post today, and I'm
Yep.
gonna put that in my calendar, and I'll do my best to be there because that sounds awesome. I love that type of stuff.
Yo, you'd have a blast. Trust me. You will not regret it if you make the trip over. It's going to be a lot of education that people are going to need. He's a registered geologist, so
Oh,
yes, yes. So a lot of knowledge there. So we hope to see you out there. Everybody have a great night, and thanks for checking out Organically Blunt. As we close this chapter of Organically Blunt, immense gratitude to our exceptional partners who fuel our growth journey. Seedsman Genetics, the seasoned seed bank with over 2 decades of experience. Grow Bag, your trusted storage solution to protect terps. Gorilla Grow Tent, crafting spaces for cultivating dreams. Kind LEDs, illuminating your green haven. Country Roots Soil and Amendments, nurturing roots for success. Atlas Seeds, a source of pure genetic treasures. Green Wolf Genetics, creators of botanic magic. Smoke and Stork Genetics, where passion meets potency. Humboldt Seed Company, committed to cultivating excellence. Extreme Gardening, elevating your gardening game. Rain Science Grow Bags, redefining plants' homes. 420 Fast Buds, pioneers of fast and furious growth. Captain Redbeard Seeds, sailing the seas of genetic innovation. Aero Mixer, the rheumatic heartbeat of your grow. Petra Tools, your trusted garden companions. SoFem Genetics, sowing seeds of FEMS and Build-A-Soil, building the foundation of your organic oasis. Lost Close Plant Therapy, healing and enhancing plant vitality. Unlock these exclusive deals with coupon code Organically Blunt at checkout. Until our next episode, stay connected and keep growing, and as always, stay organically blunt.